Hello and welcome to GCSE Migration, or as it's actually fully titled, Britain, Migration, Empires and the People. This is the orange textbook and it's the first thing you'll study at History GCSE at Cedar Mount Academy in year 10. This is likely the biggest topic and it's particularly about Britain. It's about the groups of people who migrated, moved into and migrated out of Britain, moved away, and all the different reasonings and impacts and changes that meant for British people. It does also include how Britain created the largest empire of all time. So that's a lot of stuff, it's a lot to cover, and all the other revision videos are going to cover all that content, but just for today I want you to know what this exam, or should we say this part of the History GCSE, is about. Firstly, the exam for this topic will only take 1 hour. It might even be combined with another exam to create one 2-hour exam with 2 different topics. See, what this has is 4 questions on migration. One will be a source question, one will be a significance question, the other will be a similarities question, and the last one will be a 16-mark question about the factors that have moved people. See, there will be revision videos that talk about those questions later. I'm not going to focus on them here. All I want you to know here is the introduction, the beginning of what this GCSE history is about. And I'm not kidding, we're going back really far, with the idea of this big picture above me called Pangaea. You might have heard of it before, but it's actually more of a geological question. It's the idea that all these land masses on Earth are made up of tectonic plates, but basically all the land on Earth is on these big kinds of moving, shifting planes that move on top of basically the centre of the Earth. And it means that land is moving very slowly, but all the time. And there's the idea that all of this land was once one massive supercontinent. All the countries and lands of the world were connected together at one point. And even you can see Britain in the top left next to America. It means that all of the world used to be the same place. And also it means that all the humans that lived on this Pangaea must have all come from the same exact place. They all were the same group of people, the same species. They might have looked a little bit different, but they all came from the same place. And over millions of years, and I'm not kidding, talking millions of years, these countries and spaces have moved away from each other and moved into the format that you know as the world today. The thing is, the groups of people have, again, been moving with these places. Some of them have been split apart by this, some of them have been brought together by this, and that's caused its own unique situations. But it means that Britain became an island, just like it is today. It's an island. It is away from everywhere else. It's surrounded by water. And this means that the first groups of people that came to Britain would have had to come from somewhere else, or would have kind of originally been there for millions of years. This means that the first groups of people in Britain were immigrants. Generally, this is, I'm not kidding, cavemen, hunter-gatherers. Hunters as in they hunt for food, and gatherers as in they go and find it like berries on a tree. These groups of people are the first groups of people we can imagine in Britain. And if you want to call them the first British people, you can, but they came from somewhere else. There's not truly a British person, a singular British group of people. It just isn't a thing. And these groups were followed by others. We have farmers arriving from Europe about 6,000 years ago, bringing seeds and crops and animals, meaning that Britain starts to have, should we say, stuff growing in it, like vegetables and wheat and barley. And after that, around 500 BC, you have this group of people called the Beaker people. We only know about them because they've left behind these beakers. They basically made their own cups, and they've got their name because that's all we've got from them. But they obviously could perform pottery, they could burn stuff, and they could create fires that could make clay. And the key group of people that came after the Beaker people is the Romans. You might have studied them in year 7 or in a previous time, or even looked them up yourself, but the Romans, as in the Roman Empire, expanded to Britain around AD 43. In fact, it was one of Julius Caesar's campaigns to get to Britain, but yeah, Britain was conquered by the Romans. The Romans from Italy moved into Britain and brought all their traditions and customs into Britain. They started building roads in Britain. They built amphitheatres. They settled cities. They named places. Londinium is where they settled what is now London. Mancunium is where they called Manchester. They made most of what has lasted in Britain over 2,000 years ago. Now, the thing is, they didn't stay here forever. They moved away in 401 when their empire basically was collapsing and they needed to run away to sort it out, and it didn't sort out, it died. But that's not the matter. Britain's been shaped by loads of different groups of people. They have changed the way that things have been done in this country, and they've all come from elsewhere. Now, the questions I want you to be able to answer in your book, and they'll be available with this video, is what is Pangaea and what does it mean about the human race? Number 2, who were the first groups of people to come to Britain? 3, who were the Beaker people? And 4, when did the Romans come to Britain and what did they do to Britain? Try and answer these questions written down and you'll have effectively revised our first lesson. All right, thank you very much.